By George, I think I've got it.
Hybrothetical Thinking.
I saw that Bigfoot walking across the screen and I thought to myself, wow, they are real.
I ask us all, is that really reasonable?
Hybrothetical Thinking.
My personal belief is that there is very compelling evidence that we may not be alone.
I'll show you a little of the evidence for it.
Hybrothetical Thinking.
Researchers at Stanford University School of Medicine have pioneered a cancer vaccine that eliminated all traces of cancer in mice.
You could find evidence of that, my friends. You could change the world.
Hybrothetical Thinking, a podcast for the hypothetical thinker.
Greetings, travelers, and welcome to Hybrothetical Thinking, a semi-informative podcast that explores the journey from probability to possibility. My name is Nick Floyd, and I am joined by my wonderful co-hosts,
Taylor.
Johnny.
The way this works is that either Taylor or myself will do the research for our weekly episodes, and Johnny goes into every episode completely blind, meaning he has no idea what the hell we're going to talk about every week.
No idea.
It's amazing. And what's even more amazing than that, guys, is we actually have one of two of our first ever sponsors and ads for the podcast itself. I know ads probably aren't the most exciting thing for certain people, but you know what? I fucking love them.
Yeah, I'm stoked.
I'm so jazzed about it.
Yeah, I'm jazzed.
And we have our first one. Taylor, isn't that crazy?
What's that now, man?
It's crazy that we have our first ad ever.
It's kind of blowing my mind. It's quick in the game right now. We're really early into the number of podcasts that we put out, but already we are attracting some pretty dope sponsorship. What do we got, Nick?
Super quick.
Yeah. Well, this one is super exciting because there's some history to this one. This is GLORP gum.
GLORP gum.
Yeah, GLORP gum. It was originally a World War II air sickness medicine, and their gimmick was that each piece of gum came with a T-shirt.
Oh.
And the T-shirt were meant to absorb the vomit from,
That's brilliant.
It's crazy. And it became like a collector's item.
What?
Like, it's a crazy
So wait,
thing.
you collect the vomit gum or the gum before vomit was in it?
Well, the gum came with a T-shirt
Okay.
to collect the vomit if the gum didn't work.
Oh,
So
that's
if it didn't
two
keep you
for
from
one.
getting
Dopest
air
thing
sick,
ever.
you just throw up into that shirt.
Yep.
No problem.
Yeah.
You don't get
that's
vomit all over the cockpit. That makes a lot of sense.
I would totally, without a doubt, on airlines, rather have a shirt to throw up in. And who knows, keep the shirt if I don't throw up in it.
Throw
than
up
a
in or
freaking-
on the shirt.
I don't know. Then bag. You know, those little crappy bags? Oh, hell yeah. That's a great idea.
It's so great. And so it's been a company for a while, but now and this amazing artist, Brad McGinty, he runs the company, and you can order the gum right now. It's an actual gum company, and it comes with a dope-ass shirt with every purchase.
Pay for the gum, get the shirt.
Dude, I looked at these designs. They're balling out of control. The coolest part that I saw
So
on their
good.
website was the machine. I showed that machine, the picture of the machine to my brother. He was like, what? I want to use one. It's like a gumball machine that actually dispenses shirts as well. Super dope.
I did not see that. That's
It's so
tight
dope.
as hell.
There's just so much cool stuff, but the coolest part is that we actually have an offer code that we can give to you guys that gets anyone 15% off. Yeah. Which is great. And the promo code, the GLORP gum, order now. The promo code itself is, and this is it's a doozy, but it's I'm a Broliever.
Oh.
That's I''M space
That's so
A,
easy to remember.
space BROLIVER. I'm a Broliever. So
I'm a Broliever.
That'll get you 15% off, guys. Check out GLORP gum. They're amazing. And now, you know what, Taylor?
What's that?
I want to hear some news. I want to hear what the fuck's going on in the world.
Let me give you a little news. This is what's going on in actually my neck of the woods, it seems. So when he was 17 years of age, David Huggins says he lost his virginity to an extraterrestrial.
What?
That's right, I said it, an E.T.
Wait, what are we talking
An
about?
E.T.
Oh my gosh.
We're talking about coitus, my friend. The coitus in question allegedly went down in 1961 when Huggins was just a teenager living on his parents' farm in rural Georgia.
My gosh.
Now, this apparently was not the first time that extraterrestrials had appeared to him. He had been seeing strange creatures since he was about 8 years old. But on this day in particular, as he's walking through the woods near his house, an alien woman appeared and seduced him. Okay.
Don't turn that down.
He says, I thought, if anything, I'd be losing it in the backseat of a Ford. Something like that. But it didn't work out that way.
You lost in a spaceship.
Dude, what would you do?
So,
what would you do?
over time, David Huggins grows up. He continues to see extraterrestrials, strange beings, whatnot. But he kind of grows up, kind of forgets about them. But then in 1987, he reads some book that inspires him to start painting, and it inspires his memory of this alien that first took his virginity.
Whoa.
And we learn that yeah, he actually was inspired to start painting.
What you're saying is that because
his sexual encounters with these aliens. So he's digging back in his memory banks and he's remembering all the sexual encounters that he had with these aliens as a child. And as a grown man, he starts to paint these scenes. So there's actually somewhere, I'm guessing in rural Georgia, where you can go and find this dude's paintings and see
him fucking an alien.
Strangely enough, a young version of him having sex with aliens.
Dude,
can you please go find this guy in Georgia and buy every single painting, and we need one like in the studio.
I bet it's super like artsy,
dude. It's ridiculous. There's apparently a documentary about him. It is called Love and Saucers.
Love in Saucers?
Love and Saucers.
I mean, it basically just details his memory, what inspired him to start painting, and hopefully it gets pretty detailed about some of these encounters. Yeah, I want to get some details, bro. Because I've seen a couple of his paintings, and I mean, there's an artist in there somewhere, but
is it like
they're not?
Describe the art.
Is it one of the paintings like literally an alien's head on a nude woman's human woman's body?
Exactly. Yeah,
I bet that's what it was.
Exactly. So at first, when it was like, okay, it's just an 8-year-old kid, and he just sees strange beings. And he calls them aliens. It's like, okay, this guy's just got an imagination.
Yeah.
And then you see the painting of his female alien, and it's literally just a woman with sweet tits and an alien head. Like, this guy has no imagination. What? It's so weird.
It's insane. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I think the bottom line here is I don't know if he had a choice, but would you do it? Like, if an alien came down from the heavens and somehow alluded to you, like, here I am, take me.
I think it'd be pretty obvious.
All the alien
I think if it was one of those alien head human body deals, like the painting would suggest, I'd probably be okay with it.
Does she have hair in the paintings, like on her head?
Yeah, she had pretty sweet bangs, like a Cleopatra haircut.
All the things I've heard about aliens and sex and all that stuff has always been like quote unquote probing. So this to be actual like intercourse seems a lot less or a lot more cool than the conventional getting probed.
Oh, yeah, definitely a lot more cool than just being probed.
Yeah, fuck that. Pass.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories, not where the guy paints them, and also not when the aliens are having sex with kids. That's kind of weird.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's the weird part.
Like,
but
why would it? Like, an alien, I'm sure, is smart enough to know, like, I can't even.
The laws
this kid can't even get me pregnant. Right?
I mean, would an
not
alien...
the laws, but I mean, like. How, like, doesn't a dude have to hit, like, puberty before he can get someone pregnant?
Yeah.
I don't know the logistics behind it, but, like, wouldn't an alien know age?
I don't know.
I don't know if an alien would know human age.
That's true. Maybe for them, like, 8 years old is, like, mature.
I don't know. If it knows that it's a male, though, it knows that much.
It knows sex, but doesn't know age.
It's got to be kind of familiar with the human condition.
So you're saying that...
But I thought it was cool. In the same article, another person kind of describes his encounter as the classic ancient alien encounter. They kind of bridge it with, if you take any, like, secular story from the past, any, Bible talk, like, you could easily replace those words with aliens, extraterrestrials, and it's almost the same stories.
It's crazy.
What? That's insane.
It's actually blowing my mind.
Well, I mean... Here we are again with another how we keep finding crazy stories to talk about every episode so far. I mean, we're only on episode 5 is the craziest thing to me. And another comment I wanted to call back to episode 1.
Well, before we move on, I didn't get I clearly said I would. Would you, Johnny? And would you, Nick?
Give me the hypothetical.
Move forward with the alien offering if it was on the table?
Give me the hypothetical.
That he just did. He fucking off. He said, he told you.
Tell me again.
Would you?
A female alien on the table.
Yeah.
It's
a female alien on the table and it's like, hey, would you? 100%.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean,
Cool.
not
Nick?
only to say that I could or did, like that's a cool story in itself, but like I said earlier, there's like I've never
Yeah,
heard of
right?
a case where it's not like it's sexual, it's getting probed, which is weird. Why do aliens want to learn about our butts? But that'd be yeah, sure, no problem. Unless it was like if it was an alien that looked like a human, sure. But if it was like an alien that was like a square or a really weird alien, then I don't know if I really could get on board. I guess my opinion of hot would have to come under
Fair.
the role.
That makes sense.
I mean,
Total sense.
like for science, I guess.
wow, way to take the mature route,
science.
Nick.
I'm just saying, like
Whatever.
for science.
Grow up, come on.
I'm just saying, for the sake of science, you know what I do need to be done.
Take one for the team, Nick. Yeah.
You know
You're
what?
a hero. You're a
Be
goddamn
your
hero.
responsibility at that point.
I'm an American citizen, sir.
For science.
So, side note too, calling back to episode 1 of this podcast, I just wanted to say I haven't seen it yet, and I'm ashamed I haven't. But in Ready Player One, the Steven Spielberg motion picture that just came out in theaters, apparently there's a
wanna see it so
super
bad.
sweet cameo of Bob Chandler's Bigfoot
What?
consistently throughout the film.
All of these things keep leading and coming
Bob
back to
Chandler's
us.
crazy.
Bigfoot.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. it's crazy.
Bob Chandler, if you want to be on the show, we're going to welcome you with open arms. We're going to invite you onto the podcast. Bob Chandler, if you're out there listening, which I know you probably are, hit us up.
He's got to be listening.
Please come on
I
our
think
podcast.
anything we've referenced, i.e., like anyone who's in the Mandela Effect, raccoons, Bob Chandler, anything we've like, even Jesus.
No, just Bob Chandler. Like if we can get Bob Chandler on an episode, if we never have a guest for the rest of this show, if we can get Bob Chandler, if there's a listener out there who knows the contact information and the whereabouts of Bob Chandler, please email us at hybrothoughts@gmail.com.
We'll find you, Bobby. We'll find you.
And with that being said, guys, I wanna jump right into today's topic because you know what? Taylor hit it right on the head. He kind of covered a little bit about what I'm going to talk about. He talked about art.
Oh, well, I don't know if we talked about art. He talked about...
He talked about
No.
the guy's a painter.
We talked about an alien having sex with a guy and then that guy becoming an artist. That's... Okay, let's just be honest. It
I
wasn't
see the connection,
art.
and
He's got the
I
connection.
stamp it. I double stamp
He
it.
stamps it.
Triple
Okay,
stamp it.
it wasn't
Tish,
about
make
art.
true.
It was about something else that became art. Okay, you go.
All right, so like we said in the Exorcist episode that we're going to continue saying going forward, guys, there is a kind of subtopic warning here. We are going to focus on the topic at hand. Any subtopic outside of the topic that we're focusing on, we're going to try not to delve too deep into. So if you're wondering, why do they not follow that deep, dark hole into the ground and talk about this specific piece of the story? Well, you know what? I'll tell you why. Because we're going to cover it later in episode like 103.
You best believe.
It's going to happen.
I believe
without
that's
further
slated
ado-
for 107, Nick.
Damn it. Taylor, you're right.
107, halfway through, we talk about that topic, actually.
All right, so without further ado, guys, I'm so jazzed. I'm so pumped to talk about this, guys.
I don't know what it is. It is... Okay.
No, you don't. Are you ready? Strap in.
My seatbelt's on. I got my pen and paper ready. Ready. Stoked. Oh, whoa. Was that Bob Chandler's like voice caller before he
Speaking
goes?
through.
Ready. All right.
Player one.
There's another plug.
All right.
Art. What is art? Art is expression. Art is communication. Art is subjective. But what if I told you that art could be more than just that? What if art could be the breadcrumbs left behind by a superior race or species, reminding them where they've been or what they've explored? I know what you're thinking. How the fuck did I go from point A to point Z like that? But it'll all make sense soon enough as we spend today's episode trying to figure out the truth behind crop circles. So get your tinfoil hats on, boys, because we're diving in head first to find
my
out
gosh.
what the hell this crop art actually means.
Crop art.
Yeah.
That's tight.
Freaking
Yeah.
sweet.
That's actually really cool.
I
Extraterrestrial
love crop
art
circles.
on Earth. That's pretty cool.
It's going to be a doozy. I'm telling you, this is going to leave you guys, excited, frustrated. And, I think, Johnny, in your sake, it might leave you a little less skeptical than what you might be.
I implore that. Let's go into that.
While the concept of crop circles date back to the late 1600s, It wasn't until the late 1970s or early 1980s when Colin Andrews coined the term crop circles.
Okay.
Up until that point, though, the worldwide phenomena known as circular formations or saucer nests.
Saucer nests?
That's what they were known as.
That sounds actually way less cool.
Oh, yeah, it sounds super
This
dumb.
is my saucer nest, dude. I got a 5 out of 10 in my art class. No problem, just alien school. Saucer nest. I'm sorry.
On January 19th, 1966.
Why is that not the name of Atlanta's new stadium?
Oh my gosh.
Saucer nest?
Aliens.
That'd be tight.
Saucer nest, dude. Oh
my gosh. Or
come on,
like
Mercedes-Benz Stadium, help us out.
That'd be tight. Saucer nest. Well, if the team's mascot was saucers, then yeah,
then maybe
the saucer
Well,
nest.
an Atlantan, someone who's from Atlanta is an AT alien. AT alien.
AT alien, dude. Outcast, bro.
Oh, shout out to Atlanta.
Boom shakalaka.
Circa 1990.
So
AT alien TA.
saucer nest.
Saucer nest. So January 19th, 1966, at around 9 a.m., Mr. George Pedley was driving a tractor along a narrow track on a sugarcane farm when suddenly an object rose out of the swamp nearby. George was flabbergasted by the large gray saucer-shaped object that was now nearly 30 feet above ground. While George watched, it rose another 30 feet, spinning very fast. And then, before his eyes, the saucer took a shallow dive and then shot back off towards the heavens. When George drove around the bend of the track to the swamp, he found a large, round, cleared spot that measured about 30 feet in diameter. He deemed it as a saucer nest, but little did he know this would be the very first of many crop circles. So 1966, this dude's coming out with names like saucer nest.
Yes, that's coined.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. That's better than graboids. No, it's not better. That's not better than graboids.
Nothing's better than graboids, Taylor.
That seems like a pretty good. That's like a pretty good name for it, I guess. If it's just an indentation made by like a craft that had landed, or whatever. It seems like a good name.
He saw a saucer and he's like, okay, well, what could this be? Well, the saucer nested. It's a saucer nest, and it wasn't really in a crop, so necessarily like it makes sense that it was a swamp. But like,
right?
I mean, I know you saw it speed off, but like, how brave do you have to be to like gallop on your horse over to the place that this like giant craft was just parked? Like, what if it dropped an alien and that dude came over? Vaporized.
I'll tell you what. You and I might have that opinion, but Taylor Nelson, I know for a fact, would gallop as fast as he could to see that and make some shit happen, right? Am I wrong?
Johnny, you know me so well. I would so fast. I would gallop.
Come
with
on,
all
lightning.
of my might. Yeah.
Because you want to see what the hell that was.
Yeah, I want to know what's up.
Into the saucer nest.
I really feel like all three of us would.
I want to believe I would,
like,
but
how many? None of us have obviously never had that chance. And if you had a chance like that, oh my god!
Well, I
would
think
not
the
waste
thing
it. I would not freeze up.
I think that the thing to take away from this, Taylor, isn't the fact that we wouldn't do it, but back then when it was like technically, like you're saying, the first kind of recorded thing in 1966, we might have not have had that opinion. Now, when it's like we've been drip fed images of aliens, hell yeah, I want to see a saucer. But back then, this thing could freaking kill you.
Aliens party all the time. Let's hang.
What is it? What is it?
Yeah, I guess it could be the Native Americans, seeing the ships.
Literally,
ships.
yeah.
It could be like that same deal.
Exactly. And this guy had some balls to approach this thing on his horse.
Yeah, and that's like
that's pretty ballsy.
I'm trying to look up. I didn't write this down. So yeah, so the Roswell crash happened in 1947,
New Mexico.
In New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
So there was enough information out there for this guy to be like, fuck that. I'm not going to go towards that saucer.
Oh, so he already knew possibly what it was.
Yeah, this is years later. This is 1966, Johnny. So
wait, when was the Roswell thing?
1947.
Okay, I get my facts really messed up. I don't have.
Yeah.
So you guys know, I have no computer in front of me. I just have my brain, which is not a whole lot of information. So that was 20 years earlier. So never mind. This was not the first experience. He still had balls though. He still had balls.
Listen, I'm not discrediting the guy, but
okay, but he was kind of a bitch. No, he totally, yeah.
Oh, well, while the idea of crop circles existed for hundreds of years prior to the George Pedley saucer nest, it wasn't until after the story made the news in 1966 that many others began reporting crop circles throughout the 1970s. many of which were appearing throughout the English countryside. This seems crazy, however. George Pedley's saucer nest was reported in Queensland, Australia, which is quite far from England. Why did it take so long for crop circles to pop up? Did people not know what they were looking for? I mean, it seems a bit crazy for a farmer to decide randomly to take a look at his crops from a bird's eye view. Like why would you? True. Why would you decide? Oh, there's some crop that is crushed. I'm gonna climb up in my fucking silo, look down, and go, "Huh, that's an awful large circle."
Like,
I would say,
I imagine it's pilots or something, being like, "Hey, what's that? I keep seeing these really cool things on the crops.
What is that?
And then boom, and then they're like, "Hey, Mr. Farmer, at whatever at the intersection of blah 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 and blah, you got some pretty tight art going on in your field. We just wanted to come by and take some pictures." And the guy's like, "What are you talking about? I got no art in my field. I just got my corn." And then boom, they go out there and find it.
Oh my gosh. At the intersection of Cockfosters and Piccadilly, they found these crop circles.
Cockfasters.
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 Oh, I don't necessarily think he saw some crushed corn. Even looking at movies like Interstellar, where a car runs through the cornfield. If you saw even a 6-foot wide patch broken through, an animal didn't make that. A car probably didn't make that. I would personally be, inquisitive. I would want to know what this is.
Right. It's all.
Yeah, if it's your crop, you'll be like,
yeah,
dude, who's squashing my crop?
A whole bunch of farmers get pissed off at kids who walk through their cornfield, let alone a huge patch taken out of it. I'd be like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck? I don't know what accent that is, but but that's the accent.
That sounded toothless.
It did. Hey, what the fuck is this, man?
I think that there is sort of this frustration where, and this hasn't been in any of the reports, but the farmers had to have been irritated, being like,
hell yeah.
All right, cool, maybe aliens, but also a ton of ruined crops, and you guys,
money.
Aliens, you guys have basically ruined my entire season for me. Thanks.
Not to mention livestock that was taken, apparently, the cows that they taken off the ground.
See, now you're just using your imagination.
No, that happens. I've seen so many images of that.
You've seen images of aliens pulling up cattle?
Is that not a thing?
No, that's the movie Twister.
Oh, it's true. It's a good movie. Oh, well, it's not, but I love that movie. It's actually a horrible movie, but I love it. But no, I imagine these farmers, their whole livelihood's based off their crop, their livestock, their corn, all that, and their land. And someone's fucking with that, I'd be pissed.
Right. Oh, I'd be super.
Yeah, that's their livelihood. That's their blood, man.
People get pissed off about groundhogs in their damn lawn, let alone somebody's money.
Yeah, imagine. But how
groundhogs?
How mad can you be as a farmer? Be like, honey, I watched this giant saucer just rise up and just float into the heavens, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
But it done fucked my crops up.
What the fuck?
And now we're not going to be able to eat for the next 16 months.
But it was so pretty.
I'm going to contact the U.S. government.
Sounds like excuses to me, honey.
Randy, this is the third time this week you said you've seen.
When did they start becoming cool-looking patterns? Were they just saucer nests at first? Or was one of these first reports some big badass artistic...
Well, it's funny that you say that.
Oh.
Because crop circle reports skyrocketed in the 1980s and 1990s, right after this 1978 situation, or 1966 situation. The patterns and designs became more elaborate, and they illustrated complex mathematical equations, which led a lot of people to believe that these patterns were in fact left over from alien ships who visited Earth as some sort of research excursion. But then a plot twist surfaced and blew everyone's minds in 1999 or 1991 when self-professed pranksters Doug Bauer and Dave Chorley made headlines claiming it was them who started the crop circle trend back in 1978.
They said that.
They even made a crop circle in front of a bunch...
I feel like these two guys are liars and buttholes.
Yeah, I think they're just claiming things that aren't there.
That's the cat. They made a crop circle in front of a bunch of research. They called a bunch of researchers and journalists together and said, I'm going to prove it to you. And they made a crop circle in front of them. Even a cereologist...
Wait, what's
a cereologist?
A cereal biologist.
Cereologist.
Like Cap'n Crunch?
No, it's CEREOLOGIS, which
a cereologist.
is an advocate of paranormal explanations of crop circles. They have their own name.
That's a specific branch.
Seriologist.
So
Seriologist.
he proved, or Doug and Dave proved to them, hey, we did this.
And even the seriologist goes, this looks good. And these guys, they were crop stars. They were crop artists.
Crop artist stars.
They were
But isn't there one element, at least one element of these crop circles that those two dudes could not replicate? Because, I mean, I've seen plenty of videos of dudes making crop circles, and I've seen the videos of dudes being, trying to say, yeah, we were the guys who started it. But I thought there was a chemical change that happens in these crops.
Oh, like after a burner or something?
Not just that they get pushed over.
Right. Well, these two...
What's that?
Like you're saying essentially that like it's not just I've seen this where like guys take boards or whatever and they push on the crops. You're saying there's a chemical change in the corn or in the wheat.
Like it's more than just that. Yeah.
Well, these two.
Yeah, like there's something else they do to it. Like I read this one thing where like it's microwaved and like it creates these combustions like right at the breaking point of the wheat where it falls over.
Hypothetically, if there was a space like ship that came and let's say hypothetically that it actually made this crop circle, you'd best believe that when it left, it had to use some kind of energy, some kind of, like you just said, microwave, whatever it was, to propel itself off the ground, whatever it was, and that would like leave residue, hypothetically, right?
I mean, it depends on how advanced these ships are.
We don't know. Advanced enough to make some cool ass designs.
We don't know. We
well,
have no
one
idea.
of the most popular future space propulsion systems, which doesn't seem like it would relate to a flying saucer, but it's like a microwave propulsion system. So I don't know. Maybe
it's all like radiation based.
I don't know.
Radiation. I think it's
the
crazy.
Words are the same. So
I think it's crazy that Dave and Doug both were like, "Hey, I know you guys are all freaking out about this, and I know it's kind of illegal that I'm stomping all over your crops, farmer. But it was me, caught me red-handed, and I'm going to show you how to do it, and literally put paint my hands red." Like, you caught me red-handed, and I'm going to show you how I committed the murder, essentially.
Right. Well,
yeah, and I somehow don't owe you for all those crops I destroyed.
Yeah, why would they even do that? What dicks?
Well, this is where things do take a turn. So these two Picropsos, if you will, if you want to call them that, they only actually Picropsos. That's a T-shirt design right there.
Hell yeah.
These two guys, they only claim to have made the crop circles between 1978 and 1987. But this is where things get crazy because in July 1996, 5 years after they confessed, one of the world's most advanced, crazy, and groundbreaking crop circles appeared in England across a highway from the mysterious Stonehenge. And this pattern was deemed a Julia set, is what they called it. And whatever made it proved to be extremely intelligent.
Not human.
It completely derailed everything.
What you're saying is that Dave and Doug said, all right, we did it from this time period. And then in the future, when
5 years later,
when they said we're done, we didn't do any of this.
Yes.
Something else happened in Stonehenge in England, you said.
Yeah, across from Stonehenge.
And in grass, or was it still?
It was in crop. It was in a crop across the street because there are a
could
lot of
not
crops.
have been human.
Well, at the time.
Well, these things, they get so detailed and crazy. It's like, yeah,
how can
I think
somebody
a human
plan
can
that
design
out?
that with the help of computers and rulers and shit.
No, but if you're on
can
the
they
ground,
execute that overnight without being seen?
And on the ground. Like, have you ever tried to draw an image when you're looking at a table flat and try to draw it? You have to look over top of it. How can somebody, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, in the crop circle was actually claimed, it was claimed that this Julia set appeared in less than an hour during the day.
That's like a lot of workers.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah. Right? Which is nuts. But, unfortunately, it was then later revealed that the Julia set crop circle had in fact been made in just 3 hours early that morning by 3 different hoaxers. So even with Doug and Dave inspiring hoaxers worldwide, it still doesn't explain the 1,000 other crop circles that weren't made by them from 1978 onward. And they said, we didn't make 1,000 that are unaccounted for.
But
we did not.
3 dudes made that one.
3 dudes made one of the most complex crop circles of the time in 1996.
Then it makes sense. Then, yeah, they didn't do it. These 3 dudes didn't do it. Like, Doug and Dave didn't do it. But it makes sense that if somebody else can make, at the time, a crazy complex design, well, then how much other assholes are also doing it?
Right. They've inspired. They inspired a movement.
Yeah.
So because these two pranksters, man, like fuck them. You know,
Yeah.
like both of them, they ruined everything.
My imagination.
I want to see some aliens.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Right. The only thing we have is Pedley, is George, good old George. That's the only guy we have who actually saw the alien, because
I have a story I can tell you
other.
guys. I have a story. This is a little fact. I don't know if this came out and this was like national, but I was driving to high school. This is like 5 years ago. I was driving to class, just senior lunch, and I heard on the radio a story claim of a lady that claimed she was not having intercourse, but she got knocked up, and the baby's DNA was not consistent of a DNA strand of a human. That's all they said. This is a fact. I'm not just pulling this out of my ass. And this is the craziest thing is that
from a crop circle.
No, I'm saying like an alien. Like it relates, and it relates in the fact that like this is not only what was his name, Pedley.
Yeah.
Like there's another instance I know off the top of my head of something that is not. You can't forge that.
What, the pregnancy?
No, the fact that the baby didn't have the same DNA as a human.
But did the baby make a crop
I guess
circle?
you could argue that it's like
No, but it was an alien.
faulty test or something or whatever. You know,
I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't think there's only
I'm
a
on the thought that there are hybrid little babes out there, hybrid babies. I mean,
among us that are like human aliens.
I would venture to say that we are some form of a hybrid alien / whatever the fuck was here before. You know.
I mean, what is an alien? Honestly, we're technically all aliens to other species.
Right.
I mean, it's
totally.
continuation of the Bigfoot conversation. I mean, I really think that's part of what happened in the past and what possibly continues to happen. Maybe that's why they continue to come here.
Right. There's definitely something bigger there. And as we continue, and we're almost at the end of this because I wanted to leave plenty of time to talk hypotheticals because there will be them. There will be plenty.
Bet your ass.
There's a lot to talk about. And the thing is, like, I just wanted to plant the research there, and then we're going to talk because there's too much at stake here.
At stake?
At stake.
Well,
how do you mean?
One of the crazy ones I thought was, you mentioned the timelines and stuff, everything getting crazy in the, after the 70s and stuff. Like, it was in the 70s, I don't know what year, early 70s or whatnot, with the Arecibo message that was sent out by Carl Sagan. And it was like kind of like a map, like this like digital looking map, looks like a little blocky type thing that kind of shows things about our DNA, things about our solar system, things about like our makeup, who we are. And it was like a message out there. And then sometime in the 2000s, there was like a crop circle that seemed to be a response to that.
What?
And it was like a different solar system, a different genetic makeup, a different little picture of a body,
That blows your mind.
Just think of, okay, if that was real, that was like a real response to this Arecibo message or whatever, whatever.
Right.
Maybe those couple of dudes who were hoaxing these crop circles were just making some simple little things. And they popped them up there, and the crop circles that we got later are responses to those, like actual responses. Maybe. I don't know.
That's the thing. There are so many theories. But before we dive deeper, we're going to read our second and final ad from another incredible.
Why am I stoked about
ads? It's crazy.
I don't know. Ads, sales. I love it.
Because we couldn't be happier with the people that are supporting this podcast. Two incredible companies.
Happy.
So our final sponsor, final ad to read for the episode is Future Monsters. They're a premier apparel store with a pop cultural...
Monster.
They're a premier apparel store with a pop culture and horror focus. Each product is handmade with quality material, so not only does it look good, but damn, it feels good. No mass-produced cheap garbage here, with designs inspired by King Kong, the Wolfman, and much more. These shirts are a must-have for every occasion, whether it be nightclubbing, metal shows, weddings, and of course, podcasting. So head over to futuremonsters.com and enter the code HYBRO in all caps, HYBRO, at checkout to save 10% on your next purchase. Because you know what, guys? We're going to be doing that as soon as we hit the record button. And when we hit the record button, that means the episode's going to stop recording and we can use the internet.
I'm pretty stoked about it.
I'm excited. That's great.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
I want me some monster teas, man.
Oh, hell yeah.
Monster teas. That actually relates a lot to what we talk about on this podcast.
That's what I'm
Monsters
saying.
and hypotheticals, creatures, that kind of thing.
Yeah. They could not be the best. Like, Glorp Gum and Future Monsters are like the perfect thing for us. They're so good. It's
I
great.
bet we can
People
get
are
some of
listening
those
to this.
geekster guys into those shirts. They seem like they'd wear those.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, absolutely. But meanwhile, our listeners are like, you guys are just saying that.
No.
You guys are selling out. No, you have no idea. This is genuine excitement.
I don't care about sponsors and all that stuff. I genuinely love these two companies.
Oh,
I would
incredible.
not. People know I feel like I want it. I'm a genuine person and would not sell something unless I actually got behind it.
Right.
And I'm behind.
I love
this.
t-shirts.
I love a good shirt, man.
I'm pretty stoked about these.
I love a good t-shirt. I love the way it feels on my body.
I love taking off
I love
t-shirts.
good,
the way that
cool
feels.
designs.
I'm
I like
all
monsters.
2 thumbs up. I love monsters and I love
Gum.
good shirts.
I also like gum. I like gum.
So even now, there are over 100 crop circle reports worldwide every year. Over 100. And while the art community will do just about anything to make waves and puff their chest, it seems a bit crazy that people would spend hours of their time on something that people just don't seem as impressed by anymore. And on top of the crop artists, quote unquote, there are still cereologists that exist out there with alternative explanations such as weather and wind patterns, animals who are high on opioids, changes in the Earth's magnetic field, seed weight, time travelers, UFOs, and gods that are asking to stop global warming and human pollution.
Wow, that's a lot of stuff you just said there.
And that's the thing, and like those things we're going to dive into. There's one more last piece to this puzzle of my deep dark research that I buried myself in, and then we're going to talk about all these alternative explanations because we got to talk about them. So whatever the answer may be, we don't have it. Like every episode so far, we don't have a fucking answer. But if you're trying to tell me that a group of friends would rather strategically knock down some crops instead of binge watch the new season of Black Mirror, you're out of your damn mind. Then again, this could be a group of artists like Banksy who get the rocks off by creating public art that has an air of mystery to it. Hell, even businesses utilize crop circles as marketing campaigns for products. Even an 11-year-old kid created a 7-acre Star Wars Rebel Alliance emblem in California back in 2017 as a crop circle. So let's weigh in, because if I don't get some answers soon, I'm going to lose sleep tonight. And the bottom line is, they are always in the form of a circle. They are almost always created at night. They have never been recorded being made, and they are usually in fields close to roads and highways. It sounds like aliens to me, like, what the fuck?
Well, besides Doug and Dave that made them, we have that one account of it being made. Yeah, that sounds weird. I think if I was putting myself in these people's shoes, if it is people, I would not make them at night. Usually, I mean, maybe because I'm a scaredy cat. I would not make them close to civilization like roads. You know,
right?
I wouldn't make them in such complex designs. Maybe because I'm not smart enough to make them in complex designs. It just seems like it's too difficult, too long, time intensive. It doesn't seem plausible why somebody would. But what the fuck?
Yeah, the strategy, it seems like it just takes too much work to go,
yeah.
All right, let's look at a Google map overhead. Let's pull up the Google Maps and look up flyover, and we're going to map out. You're going to put a circle here, 2 circles in the middle. Then you're going to go out and put a line here that's going to feel like a mathematical equation. And then we're going to go at night, hold flashlights in our mouths, wrap a baseball bat in barbed wire, and mow some crops down. And make it perfect?
It looks like you've thought about this before, Nick. Have you considered this before?
Another crazy level to that is a lot of these ones that they would call elaborate, or that you would look at and say, man, that's elaborate. Like, it doesn't seem to be haphazardly placed circles or shapes. Like, they seem to have meaning. And they seem to be decryptable. You know, there's that one that looks like it's circular. Looks like you could almost put like some futuristic key in there and it'd like be a circular key.
Exactly.
But they've shown where it's each turn it makes around this spiral somehow represents every number for like the first however many digits of pi. And like, sure, humans can figure that out, but man, like to execute that overnight and no one know it. Not only that, but all the time it would have taken to actually make the design, then plan out how you're going to execute that design.
Then do it.
And then execute it.
Right.
Man, these people should be building shit.
Right, they're too smart.
Is this maybe a secret society of amazing surveyors?
Yeah.
They're like
Land
the
surveyors.
world's greatest surveyers that for some reason aren't focusing their stuff.
They're taking theodolites and they're taking all their land surveying knowledge about like infrastructure in the ground, and they're going out there with their theodolites, measuring like the rotation and all that stuff of the ground and picking points. What blows me away is that we're talking about like going Google Earth and like bird's eye view. Imagine pre-Google Earth. How freaking hard would that be?
Right.
Yeah, to like check your work. I guess you
can't check.
How
There's
would
no
you
drones.
You just wait for someone to fly over, and like maybe it'll be in the newspaper, the next day.
Like
I hope it was good.
You could convince me now and say like, oh, they're all faked, because someone literally could go out, throw a drone in their backpack,
Yeah.
and then when they're done making the crop circle, you fly the drone up, you look down, and you go, guys, we nailed it,
Or fix the imperfections.
and then you move on. But they are so
that's a good point. Yeah.
The line work is perfect, and a lot of the theories that I read claimed that these were UFOs or time travelers who were leaving a mark that was different enough to let them know, hey, we've been here before, let's move on.
Whoa.
But I don't think that's the case. I think
That's a cool one. Whoa, I've never heard that.
I like that.
I think that whether they are UFOs or whether they are time travelers, I do think that this is maybe this is some form of language similar to the language the aliens used in Arrival. I think that there are every circle, every line, all of those things mean something different. And I feel like someone's trying to communicate with us. And there's a website you can go on where you can see all of the crop circles from every year. It's an archive of like photos snapped of specific crop circles. Why this database exists and no one's talking about it, or no scientists are observing, there's someone out there who's like, shut up, don't talk about it.
Yeah.
These are going to exist and no one's going to know.
Yeah, like Mandela effect it.
Someone's trying to talk to us. That's the bottom line. I truly believe that
I think that 100%. Yeah. It seems to be communication, in my opinion. I mean, like some of these are so complex, it's crazy. And if you think about the one that like seems to represent pi, then like, okay, we know pi very well, so that one's easy for us to see. We could trip up on that one pretty easy. But what about some of the other ones that just seem like elaborate pictures? What I guess the knowledge that it takes to decrypt those or decode those, our everyday dude, highbrow maybe just doesn't have that knowledge. But maybe there are some super smart scientists out there who knows what all this shit means.
Right. I mean, are they scientists?
Decryptologists.
Or are they the government? Is this a government?
Yeah, I would imagine some mathematicians. I mean, some high-level math dudes would be the ones, picking this stuff apart.
Right. And I think, and Johnny sort of touched on it, years ago, before pre-technology, pre-Google Maps, all that, sure, I think people might be bored, especially considering a lot of them happened in England. I think people had the crops. They found it entertaining.
You calling English people bored?
No, I'm
we
not.
Got a lot of spare potato crap.
English people had nothing to do with what you're saying.
I just think crops were more, they existed more in England, whereas in the States, like a lot of farming happened commercially. And in England, like farming is still independent there. I do believe that there are a lot of farms that are run independently and not commercially. And I think that the crops are larger. They're more, they're closer to roads, and there are so many more there in the United Kingdom that they're more accessible. And I think they were even more accessible back in between the 70s and the early 2000s when crop circles blew up. But now I just don't think, like, why would crop circles still exist? You're trying to tell me that someone is getting off their couch and going to work hours on creating this perfect design that no one is going to give a flying fuck about. No one cares anymore.
Yeah. There's like crazier things out there that people will actually give a shit about. Why would anybody want to know about crops?
Right. Crop circles.
Yeah. I guess if you are one of those powerhouse surveyor guys and you just want to flex, I guess that's a good way to do it.
Flex on. But
I like the idea of time travelers bouncing around.
Too.
Even if it's not time travelers, just to say time travelers or just long distance travelers, from out of our area. Like it would make sense. Like if they're leaving a marker, okay, it should be something elaborate. And then it should be in a recognizable place. And from what I understand, Europe, England, and whatnot is near what they would describe as the center of the globe. on the
map,
on the meridians or whatever. Yeah, so if you're like planet hopping, you know, I would imagine that there should be one, you know, place that you can mark on every planet that would relate. So, okay, let's go to the center of that planet, the energetic center of the planet. Boom, we'll mark it there if we've been there. Makes sense to me.
Here's where I would disagree with you, Taylor, is that if it was a meteorite, possibly. If it was a volcano, possibly. You know, something that would last for millions and millions of years, sure. But crop circles are going to change, just like your haircut, you know? I would say...
That's very, very good point, Johnny.
It would have to be... I would agree with you only until you say long-distance travelers. Maybe time travelers, because you could say, all right, today is April 20th, 420, April 20th, you know, on 2018... I'm going to go to that place in England, in Scotland, and that's where the crop circle is. But if someone's traveling from Mars...
What about this?
Okay.
What about... So, any of these people traveling that kind of distance, we would assume that they have to make that travel in an extremely fast amount of time.
It's true.
Maybe instantaneously.
That's true.
So maybe they're able to travel so fast that when... Like, they're going so far in distances so fast that I guess we would have to say... that they are like teleporting or time traveling or whatever. It's like instantaneously here, instantaneously there. It's like a flash through all these different places.
Like Jumper.
Instantly.
Yeah. Well, I'm still stuck on the fact.
Like, hitting all these places.
What was that?
You know, faster than I guess the grass grows.
Cartoon, like someone get put in the face.
I'm stuck on the fact that you know, you mentioned like permanence, and I'm stuck on the concept of permanence, and you know, why, if these are time travelers trying to communicate, if these are aliens trying to communicate or leave a mark, if you're really that particular about leaving a mark and saying, hey, here's my stamp, I've been here, guys, crops grow back.
Yeah, it's like, hey,
like if I step in wet grass, when that grass, the dew comes off the grass, that footprint's going to be gone. You know, when you walk on sand, the wind's going to blow the sand right back over when when the tide comes in, or the water's going to wash it, or whatever it be.
Well, I mean, the world is a big place, but you know, over the span of time, you know, if they keep sending these messages, and if they were permanent, eventually they would all just run together, and you wouldn't be able to decipher any of it. It would just be one symbol on top of another, running over another. You know. So maybe that's good. Maybe it's like, okay, yeah, maybe it is only for a moment in time, like long enough for us to see it and take a picture or whatever.
Right, but then even from an artist perspective, like artists are so proud. They create something and then you put it in a museum or you put it in a gallery or you save it for yourself or you sell it. If an artist commits so much time,
maybe this is like that Wu-Tang album, that unreleased Wu-Tang album
that they sold to Martin Shkreli. The pharma douchebag.
The album that will never be heard. But I heard he was actually trying to release it.
Yeah, he can't do it from prison.
I mean, sure he could. Somebody could get their hands on it then, I guess, if he's in prison.
So
the album somewhere.
Are you saying that all this comes back to the Wu-Tang Clan?
Yeah, it's the Wu-Tang. And when they unleash this album, then we're all going to know what the hell's going on with crop circles. Funny little aside here. Doing my research on the YouTubes, and I came across a pretty cool little coincidence. So we're filming this show today on April 20th, 420, what? And it just so happens that on this day, there is a British hip-hop MC dropping an album today, and that album is called Crop Circles, y'all.
What?
That's weird.
Yep. Mandela action on that ass.
That's a Mandela effect action.
Like, this is... All right, this is happening too often now.
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's happening just in the right amount of time. Just let us know that we're having an effect
the amount
on the
that they
space-time.
want it to happen.
Yeah.
We're being watched, guys.
Dude, they're watching us.
There's something about, you know, talking about... I think Bigfoot is Bigfoot's the only exception so far, but I think talking about the Mandela effect specifically, and then exorcisms as well.
You said specifically?
Specifically.
Okay, making sure.
There are scientists that are digging. There aren't many, but there are scientists digging into the existence of Bigfoot and the science behind that, and I get that. But with the Mandela effect, with crop circles and and with exorcisms, they're just sort of left alone.
Mm-hmm.
And with crop circles, it really bothers me that this is happening. And these crops that we rely on as people, or one day will rely on with things changing in our climate, in our world, they're just being left alone, and no one's actually coming after these people for damaging these crops.
Yeah.
And why are
yeah,
people,
I wonder if
like,
they did have to pay some reparations, or if they had to,
They should.
right,
get a ticket or something. I mean,
then again, it like this 11-year-old kid who created a Rebel Alliance emblem in California last year, I'm sure he had permission, but if an 11-year-old can create a crop circle, now I couldn't find information on how long it took him to make this, but like, there's too much.
Like
there's
Was Rebel Alliance? That's a really shitty Rebel Alliance badge.
There's just too much at play here, and like the Mandela effect, I think there's something. And I'm not trying to, create conspiracy theories on this podcast, but that's sort of what this is about. Like, we look into the hypotheticals of like, what if there is someone or something who's trying to keep these crop circles hush hush, leading all the way back to these pranksters that the government trained Doug Bauer and Dave Chorley. Like, this is how you make it, guys, in the most simplest way. And we're gonna pay you X amount of dollars. You're gonna keep your mouth shut. And you're going to go in front of these reporters and researchers, and you're going to say, it was us this whole time. We're a bunch of jokesters. We're funny guys. And you're going to make a crop circle in front of them no matter how long it fucking takes.
Wow.
Like, what if that's the case?
Yeah.
It's believable.
I buy it.
I could buy
it.
And I would do that. If the government came and say, hey, here's $50,000. Let's just throw that number out there. Hey, go out and make this crop circle, whatever. They told me exactly how to do it.
Right.
I would do it.
Yeah. If, like, the government told me to make Sharknado 9... I'd be like, I don't know about my career. I'm kind of worried about it.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
Taylor wants to.
Yeah. You know what? I'll do it. And
I mean, give me 6 through 8 first.
Is
get those.
We'll just skip it. Just go from 5 to 9.
So what if it's not only aliens doing crop circles? What if it's aliens and our own government doing these crop circles, and they're like call and response?
Oh, it's like that's how they communicate?
We put one down, it says something, they respond.
How are you? Good, you? How's your wife? Good. Family good?
They're just conversations. The larger the crop circles, the louder they are. So it's just our government being like, hey! And the aliens be like, what's up?
Why are you yelling?
Well, yeah, wait. I'm going to...
No, I had this cool thought. What if, see, a lot of the crop circles tend to happen around ancient European megalithic sites,
right?
Like Stonehenge and a lot of the sites that are like Stonehenge in Europe. What if back at the time of Stonehenge, or even before that or something, crop circles rose up? They see some crop circles or whatever. And in response to that, they try to make some crop circles, but they're like, fuck, like you guys said, it doesn't last. So they build Stonehenge. Obviously, it's going to last. It lasts. And it's some kind of a message, and it gets received. And the response, possibly, from that message being received could be crop circles that we're getting around these times or in the past 20, 30 years. And it could be the distance between us and whoever's received/sent the message. The distance could be so great that represents the difference in time between now and like Stonehenge creation.
Because that is an interesting idea because the fastest thing in the known universe is light traveling, and it technically would take 8 minutes between light to go from the sun to us. That's only in our solar system. So yeah, technically for the information via light to go from the crop circle to that is a long time.
Right. Well, there's
like how many light years is Mars? I mean, that's a shit ton of light years, isn't it?
To Mars?
Yeah.
I don't think it takes a year for light to get to Mars. It may be like a light minute. A light year, Taylor, is how long it takes light. Minute. A light year is how long it takes light to go from point A to point A to
in a year.
A year. 0.8 to 0.2
in a year.
So Mars is like way in that. Like in anything in our solar system, it takes like a couple minutes to like 30 minutes for light to get to. Like our sun, third rock from the sun, Earth, only takes 8 minutes for light to get from it to us. But there are some stars out there that we have that are dead that we still see as stars because light hasn't gotten to us yet. So I don't. So I don't know. I think it's interesting. I also think it's fascinating because along the way of these crop circles, hypothetically, if these aliens are making them or communicating back and forth, I think it's interesting because there could be all these kids, let's say like Doug and Dave, like from back earlier, who are making a crop circle. Remember that kid who's making the Rebel Alliance?
Yeah.
And to these aliens, that doesn't mean their language. That might mean something like a swear word in their language. And they're like, what the fuck, Earth?
Are you trying to say aliens haven't seen Star Wars?
The rebels are attacking.
You know those motherfuckers are in space looking down, being like, hey, man, that's my favorite movie. Randy, come over here and look out the window. Look at this. Look at this. He's like, oh shit, that's a Rebel Alliance symbol?
We gotta watch the movie.
Like, yeah, hey, should we flash lights back and make the Empire symbol back?
Do Morse code.
Yeah.
No, they're seeing all these Americans
this kid
making.
Would love it.
This kid's gonna die for it. I don't know. I just know a lot of if we're communicating with aliens on a different just via crop circles, there's somebody out there making crop circles that are not in the right dialect. These aliens are picking up or putting down. They're just like, these are random ass shapes. These people are high as hell.
Well, I couldn't really do. I couldn't add this in my research, but there's also a very faith driven.
I'm sure
reasoning behind these. So. There is a woodcut pamphlet that has existed for a long time. There's no year on it. It just exists. Or no, 1678. So it's a woodcut. It was just super weird. And the woodcut illustrates in folklore a mowing devil, which in English, which the folklore is that an English farmer told a worker a guy who he was feuding with, who he's pissed off at. He said that he would I'd rather pay the damn devil himself to cut my crops. And what happened was that his demand became a reality. And so in this wood pamphlet, there's actually a representation of Satan himself with horns and a tail holding a scythe cutting these crops.
Bahizalbob?
Wait, but he's only cutting like crop circles. So he's half-assing these crops just to be a dick, is what you're saying.
Right. So no, they're saying that this farmer,
and he had a lawnmower, which is even more impressive.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
They're saying this one farmer.
What is he doing it with a scythe or whatever? What do they call those? Like,
is he
the Grim Reaper
is he siphoning water? Is it the devil or Grim Reaper? Because I'm really confused.
It's the scythe, and they're saying basically in folklore that this farmer made by saying those words, saying that I'd rather have the devil himself cut my grass. That happened, and so these crop circles are essentially
him.
It's the devil.
Well, you're saying Dave and Doug are the devil.
What?
You're saying Dave and Doug, the crop circle assholes, are the devil.
I mean, I'm saying maybe they're an incarnate of the devil.
Interesting. A reincarnation that the government said, hey, make these crop circles. Interesting.
Well, no, I'm just saying that they might be, the devil might have possessed these guys.
Sure.
And they made crop circles.
I could see that. I definitely could see the devil being an asshole as he is, or it is, and only half-assing cutting this lawn. Be like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm only going to take my scythe and cut these weird-ass shapes in your lawn,
Yeah.
But wouldn't he want to make the most glorious cut job that you've ever seen?
Like a whole bunch of pentagrams.
Because he's trying to coax you onto his side and be like, damn, this guy's not so bad. He's
an
cuts
artist.
Really good. He cuts these badass shapes in the crops. I like this guy. I don't know.
You're from the neighborhood devil
He's a pretty cool
lawnmower
guy. But if he's half-assing your crop job, I'd be like, I'm obviously not siding with the devil again.
My crop job.
Not today, Satan.
Half-assing the crop job.
But it is like it's so.
That jives with the obviously the ancient alien idea that anytime in the past and even. Anytime in the past that people would see something paranormal, extraterrestrials would fall into that category, they would deem it religious, a religious experience.
Of course.
And in this day and age, we take all those same experiences and we deem it science fiction.
Yeah.
We have the ability to technically not just deem it religion. I'm not saying people don't, but back then what you're saying is that the first time you see something, the easiest thing to relate it to is your own religion or something that is religion based.
Well, it's safe. But the thing
let's say you see something come down from the heavens or whatnot. You see a flying saucer or whatever.
It's got to be
an alien
religion.
comes out and you have interaction with it. Just like the Native Americans, you'd be like, oh, it's a fucking alien. Oh, God. And it is an alien. Or you'd be like, that's God or whatever. Like, that's God.
Yeah.
Whatever you worship, but it's just an alien.
Well, if there was...
It's just a flesh and blood thing.
If there was indeed a UFO that landed, I honestly believe that a large percentage of people would say, this is the day of rapture.
It's got it, yeah.
That is, like Jesus has returned.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the way that things are. But what makes this whole folklore thing so interesting is that it's all, Jesus reincarnated. Like, that's a whole thing that is a discussion and has been a discussion for a long time, like a day of his return. But the interesting thing about this folklore is that it's actually the devil making these crop circles based on folklore. And that's what's so interesting to me, is that it's not like an angel who's trying to prove that art is a beautiful subjective thing. It's the devil himself making these crop circles for, maybe it's like people in jail, they have to do community work.
Yeah.
And like the devil sends up people from hell.
That's so funny.
And they're like, all right, you got to make another crop today. And it's like, damn it.
60 hours of community service?
Damn it. It's so hot out there.
Come on, Satan, you're kind of being a dick.
Enough rations and water.
You gotta be a dick. It's hilarious.
Listen, this is one thing.
But if you keep your eyes open, boys, we can get more rocks for Andy and his little chess pieces.
You can relate that easily. A lot of people in any religious circle can relate aliens to the devil. I think we can agree on that. Is that anything extraterrestrial is the devil.
Right, unless you're a Scientologist.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know about the devil, but
in the movie Paul, I talk about
religious.
Well, no. What?
It could be the good side or the bad side.
I don't know.
It doesn't have to be the devil.
I feel like on a lot of
anything alien in my mind, I guess you could be like, it's alien. It's not of this earth, so it could be extraterrestrial, not of this earth. Right. It could be whatever people are calling religious figures,
I don't know,
angels, whatever.
I think a lot of the time
either way,
when people can't quantify something in this day and age, it's easy to say it's something negative than something positive.
Well, if it's not destructive, like if it's like the Close Encounters aliens where they're communicating through music, they're like, can they come down and communicate to like Sean Kingston songs? Or
pretty tight.
I think it would communicate via Horse the Band, a forward-thinking group of musicians.
They just play Rush.
Here, all right. So, yeah, probably. No, it'd be something complicated. It'd be Meshuggah or something.
it would
something
definitely
super complicated, or like even maybe not metal, but still complicated. It'd be like Mars Volta.
Oh yeah, see, it'd totally be like.
I guess it depends on the age of the alien at that point.
Yeah,
the age of the alien is.
So there is this one crop circle that I came
Dave
across.
Matthews Band.
So this one crop circle is it's basically a picture of like a typical gray alien, and he's like in the shadows, and it's like a big portrait of it. Looks really cool. And like the bottom right side of it is this disc shape, and the disc has little blocks that, in the design, like tiny little blocks, a bunch of them, like as if it were a record or something. And apparently on that disc, it has been decoded that it says, "Beware the bearers of false gifts and their broken promises. Much pain, but still time. There is good out there. We oppose deception. Conduit closing."
That's weird.
What?
Could be a pretty badass message. It was 2002 crop circle. The alien looks like your typical gray alien, and it's like a very stylized picture. It's kind of weird how stylish it is. Like
Aliens is green.
It's pretty trendy.
The
way the message is written out, man, it's like in this like coded, coded shit. It looks crazy, like very detailed, and it seems like it would be hard to do this message.
Yeah,
well, it sounds very military as well, like very strategic, and the way those words
very
flow
simple
together.
words. Like here's the most plain Jane we can give it to you.
Exactly, and it's just this whole topic is so crazy because the further we get into what is the future, which that is what it is, the more astronauts are coming out and they're saying, like, listen, aliens, like, in whatever capacity they exist. Like, astronauts are coming out and they're saying,
yeah, like, we saw shit.
Yeah, we did. And
like Life, the movie Life, with like the alien that's in the no.
I mean, you're kind of pushing it.
Saying like you're seeing.
I believe that movie stars Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy.
I haven't seen it. If it is, that's tight. It's tight shit. I haven't heard of this. You're saying astronauts have come out and said, "Yo, I've seen some shit."
Yes, they are, and more.
I've seen some shit.
A lot of them. I think
not real shit, like out of the airlock, like actual crazy stuff.
Yes, not like physical shit. Like aliens.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Well, you want to hear something crazy?
Hell yeah.
Mars is 12.5 light minutes away.
Told you it wasn't a light, you
so,
dumbass.
Factoid.
Light minutes.
Well, that is a fraction of a light year. So
yeah, how many light years? One.
It has some relation to a light year.
0.00. Yeah, well, yeah.
Divide it by.
That's the measurement of the measurement of time.
Sidebar.
How many minutes are in a year?
Oh, a lot.
A lot.
I don't have a computer. You look it up to figure it out. I'm going to say minutes in a year. Well, if there's 60 minutes in an hour, 12 hours in a day, I'm going to say 5 billion.
552,000 minutes.
Damn it. I was so off. 5 billion.
Man, that seems so small.
It does actually seem small.
That's crazy. But like talking about light minutes though, I like sidebar, I kind of am envisioning a Fast and the Furious movie in space. And I kind of want to, at one point, to Vin Diesel say, "You want to race?
You want to do an alien?
My car goes 0 to 5 light minutes in 32 seconds."
And this alien's like, and it's like just gone.
I'm not saying he's racing the alien. I'm saying he's probably racing the Rock. He's like, we're going to get even.
Oh,
me, 0 to 5 light minutes in 60 seconds.
They're measuring their cars via light speed.
Yeah, or we can do a new Nicolas Cage picture, Gone in 50 light minutes.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
We got to steal 60 spaceships from planet Urethra.
Oh my gosh, the guy from Tesla, didn't he, planet Urethra? Did you just say that?
That's the first thing that came to my head.
Oh, that's pretty great. Some guy, what's his name? Everyone knows his name. I can't believe I forgot his name. Tesla dude. Tesla. Oh my gosh.
Elon Musk.
Nikola Tesla.
He put his car, Nikola Tesla, he created the Tesla coil, put his car in space recently. No, Elon Musk. And he already started the race. He's like, yo, Rock, yo, Vin Diesel.
What do you mean put it in space, though? Like on a rocket? He just like took a car to space? Or
didn't he?
Yeah.
He launched
lifted it into space.
He put the car into space and went vroom vroom in his little Tesla vehicle.
But there is a Tesla in space right now.
Is it still there?
Yeah.
Tight.
I'm still confused.
Hey,
by
Richard
this.
Branson, I'll race your fucking ship with my fucking Tesla.
So he made his car able to get to space, or he just took a car to space?
I think he took it
He
to space.
strapped it and launched it
He just
into
took
space.
a car to space?
Yeah, I think per
They've
pound
taken so much weird things to space. Like they've taken golf clubs to space.
taking animals, taking food.
Like,
The
you took a car to space.
The new U2 record.
But per pound, it's like so many hundreds of thousands of dollars to haul stuff from Earth to space. And he took a whole car, half a ton or whatever. That's a lot of freaking money just wasted.
I mean,
So he did it to show how light this car is.
Yeah, that's some great brand marketing.
Little
right there.
did he know gravity existed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that car is going to be fucked up
That's
when it
to
comes
show
back.
the airbags work. This is the most fortified frame of any car.
If it landed and it was like not completely demolished, I'd buy that car because that's definitely the safest car in the damn universe.
Yeah, that would be like buying a piece of underwear from the set of Titanic. You're like, all right, this Tesla was in space. So you'd be like, yeah, the fuck right, Johnny.
Yeah.
This car went to space. You're like, no, it absolutely went to space.
Our resident car guy has something to say about cars.
Our resident, Johnny, our neighborhood car guy, our obviously not neighborhood car guy. It'd be kind of cool. If you could bring a car to space, bring it back, that would be like mad props. Like, oh, my Volkswagen goes, or my Golf goes 0 to 60 in like never. Oh, dude, my BMW went to space.
I feel like this would happen in the movie.
I don't know if I'd take, I don't know. I don't know if that'd be the first thing I'd take to space.
You know who would do this, though? If the movie Blank Check was made right now, that kid would be like, I'm going to write a check, you put me in a Tesla, and you shoot me into space. And if you say no, I will
Be a
take
montage of him in space.
Like,
how is that not in the montage already? Come on, Preston Waters, get your priorities straight.
What would you bring? What would you bring to space first, Taylor? If you had the option, the ability.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it would matter. Like, I don't know if I'd want. Why would I? I don't want to take any just random things
Well, would you?
on my cruise up to space. You know, like if I was going to Mars, yeah, I'd probably bring a pretty awesome rover. Though I don't know if I'd bring a car. I'd bring something specially made for Mars.
I'd bring some Glorp gum.
But if I was going on an extended trip, I would
Shout
need
out.
a guitar for sure.
Hell yeah. I'd want some.
Taylor
Like
just
that
shredding in
item one.
space. Taylor's like, oh, fuck yeah, first guitar solo in space.
Yeah, like aliens just like appear, like from Rick and Morty. All the heads are like, "Show me what you got." They all just like surround Taylor, like, "Oh my god, this guy is the future of."
I like what you got.
Show. And how about you, Nick? What would you
I
bring to
mean,
space?
I'll raise up my posterior.
Raise up posterior. Nick, what would you bring to space?
What would I bring to space?
You have an object to bring to space.
Bulk item.
A bulk item.
One item that it's bigger than your pocket. If it fits in your pocket, you can take it no matter what.
It's bigger than
bigger?
Okay.
Okay.
I would probably.
Yeah.
I'd probably bring like the most vicious animal in the world. I'd probably bring like a cheetah or a lion, because when we get to space, there's gonna be gravity or no gravity,
Yeah.
and that shit's gonna be floating around.
And you're gonna like watch
Like,
it, like
real confused.
It's gonna
and
be
I'm
so
like,
pissed. Like it wants to kill you. It's like, fuck.
Yep.
That would be awesome. Like a shark. Oh, if I could bring a shark into space, I'd live my dream.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a
Watching
pug
that fucker
swimming.
die. help.
Life of Pi on a on an Elon Musk
I would
rocket.
bring like the longest selfie stick, take a huge selfie with like Earth, like some kind of awesome camera, document that shit, and show it to all flat earthers.
Really? That's what you'd bring, Johnny?
I'm a camera guy. What can I
That
say?
wouldn't prove shit.
No, it wouldn't. They would literally.
You
They would look at you.
You have to take a 3D camera though.
Yeah, you have to take a 360 camera.
I would do a video. Yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah, you'd
wouldn't
have to
matter.
take a 3D camera, or else you'd just be taking a picture,
Of a flat Earth.
another 2D picture. We got plenty of 2D pictures,
you
bro.
can see curvature. It's
Can you see curvature, Johnny?
dude, I can see curvature.
I don't
Yes.
believe you can.
I also don't
Like,
believe
what
you
if
can.
the moment that you see it, it's like fully lit from your side?
And then it's just dark.
Boom.
Yeah.
Huh?
And it's just dark. Well, no, the idea is that
And you just happen to not see your own shadow.
No, but the thing is that all the continents fit on one side of the disc, and and there's an ice wall. So if I could see only America, only
Right.
South America, and then like part of Europe, then you couldn't see Russia or Japan or anything. That would disprove flat Earth theory, because like you'd have to have all the continents on one side of the plate.
I think flat Earth theory is disproved anyway.
Apparently not, says the internet recently.
No, it is not disproven that it is a theory.
Uh-oh.
It is definitely a theory that people have out there.
No, I know people who have that idea, the ice wall and all that stuff, and what I'm saying is, I would bring a selfie camera to space. No one asked me, but I would.
I would, and this is such an interesting, like bringing it back to the topic of crop circles. I think the idea of crop circles and aliens coming to Earth and touching down, I kind of believe it's a win for flat earthers. I think that flat earthers, if they chose to do it, which they'd sound even more fucking crazy, if they were like, nah, but when aliens land on Earth and make crop circles, it proves that the Earth is flat. It's flat as a paper plate. Not the paper plate with curves, a paper plate without curves.
It's just like a piece of cardboard.
It'd be as flat as a piece of cardboard that hasn't been warped in travel.
So why would they?
That's a very good point. I've never seen a 3D crop circle. That's a very good point.
I don't really follow.
Johnny,
I don't think you're supposed to.
no, you weren't supposed to
I don't
follow
get it, guys.
at all.
That was over my head.
I hope that's over a lot of people's heads. If it's not, then you might need to reconsider whether you're a flat earther or not.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
man.
saying, like, if flat earthers really wanted
I
to.
wonder if. Huh?
I don't know, man.
I
I'm
wonder
glad
if
you're
crop
gonna-
circles happen in places that are like not heavily populated, like in a third world country, like let's say in the middle of a African savanna where there is grass or whatever, wheat, whatever there is. I wonder if they happen out there.
But we wouldn't know. And
Just random places.
that's the crazy part.
Populace,
Yeah, we wouldn't know, or the jungle or something,
There's no way. Like, we would only know. I mean, there are crops that exist that aren't in heavily populated areas, we wouldn't know. We wouldn't know. And even then, like, do we know how many crop circles are actually happening right now? Because there's no way. Like, how do you?
Could
how
be
do you?
one that happened right now, and
Right. How do you document a crop circle?
what
You just
if?
like.
Yeah, and the only ones that we're going to find are ones that are roughly that scale.
Right.
What if there are some that are like the size of your hand, or whatever, or even smaller?
Like a Bigfoot
You're
imprint.
never going to find those.
I mean, I would truly believe that the movie Honey, I Shrunk the Kids exists. And I'd believe that those little fuckers are running around making little miniature crop circles to try to say, hey, don't step on me. I'm trying to live my life. Someone shrunk me down. I'm pretty pissed off about it.
Is it Men in Black 1 or 2 that has like the little alien guy that operates the full body?
One.
Yep, the first movie.
1?
Yeah. Where he says life
Yes,
relies
something
on a
that little guy's size. I don't know. He'd be making little crop circles.
100%.
What if, okay, so here's another theory. What if it's like the movie E.T., and there's an alien that crash landed on this planet, let's say Roswell, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the body that was removed
Roswell.
was a decoy to tell people to calm down, don't worry, there's not an alien among us, you're going to be okay. It was all a decoy. This alien ship crashes, this alien gets away, and all these crop circles are basically alien-human hybrids because this alien obviously probably met someone who he or she fell in love with.
Because it's clear that if it was a female alien, it would have got laid.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
calling back to David Huggins. And they've sort of made this
He fathered a lot of children apparently who have crop circle skills.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh!
Trained.
What if his offspring were the crop circle assholes that made this? Like his
that's a stretch, but I'm just trying to say.
I'm just saying.
I'm trying to say that, like, what if there is an alien society who's hyper intelligent, who has found a way to live or is being protected by the government? Well, they wouldn't be protected by the government; they would be hunted, and they're trying to get home. And these crop circles are a way to communicate and say, "Hey, we're here," or "Hey, we're going to give you information of how Earth's doing." And be like, they're kind of fucking up. And the aliens are like documenting and being like, cool, keep staying on Earth. It's like Third Rock from the Sun, the show.
Oh,
right.
Where
that's like, how they're giving the responses back.
Right. That they're voluntary. I mean, maybe they're not voluntarily there. Maybe one alien crash landed, or maybe he did voluntarily come here and his ship when entering Earth's atmosphere, it became too much and he crashed. And couldn't land because they weren't prepared for our ozone.
Crash landing.
Right.
Typical.
It's crazy, okay? I get it. I understand. You don't have to tell me that it's makes sense.
It's a little weird to me that, hypothetically, if there are so many... It's believed that there are more stars in the known universe than there are grains of sand in any ocean, in any beach, combined. That's a belief system that it crazy to me is that if there are so many of these different planets, different stars, and there's aliens, why would they give a fuck about us?
Why wouldn't they give a fuck about us?
Because we're stupid humans. We don't like.
But to them though,
we are seeking them out so hard. Like we want to find them so bad. Why would they not feel the same way?
Right. Because in my mind, if they're so if this alien intelligence is at our intelligence level, sure, but at a certain point, like the things from Arrival, they wouldn't care because their intelligence is so higher than us. They would just either conquer us, they'd probe us once, and then figure out, well, these guys are stupid, and then they just say, all right, we're gonna kill you, take your planet because it's awesome, it's in the Goldilocks zone, or they just leave us. Like, there's no point to like communicate with us because what are they going to gain? All these humans are slowly gaining. Oh, now one got a car to space. That's pretty cool. They won't give a shit.
What if it's one thing though, and that's how in Arrival they were waiting. They knew that they needed.
They did
help.
They
needed help
they
from
needed
the
help.
humans on Earth.
Sure.
What if there's one thing that they're waiting on that we can create that will help them, and then if they just wipe us from the planet, from our own planet, that it wouldn't be beneficial to them. So these crop circles are basically communications back to their planet, their ship, whatever.
They're almost like holding our interests.
Yeah, exactly. And they're just not getting spotted doing it.
So think like in the Bigfoot conversation, how the thought could be way back when we were there were Neanderthals here, aliens came, spliced the DNA, boom, created us. So we're already a hybrid, right?
Yeah,
what if the thought is Like, they need something, like, they continually need the DNA from us, but for some reason they can't really get it from Neanderthal or whatever we're spliced with, so they have to get it from some watered-down version, which would be us. So what if we have some certain genes in us that they just do not have, like they can't have, or maybe they've evolved out, like certain genes that would be beneficial to them still. So they come back to our little pool, our little petri dish, and they grab some. And that's just the reason to keep coming back.
Or it could be something as simple as like our atmosphere, like how we're breathing, how we're functioning. Like if we get too much of a certain
chemical,
we'll
die.
We'll die.
No, that's a really valid point. Besides like planets, or I guess moons and stuff like Titan, or there's some crazy name I don't remember. It's like XLR X, whatever. Planets that are similar to Earth, and like the Goldilocks zone with oxygen and water and organic life forms that are so small, it would seem plausible that we would be a candidate for interest because our planet, our situation is so rare.
Right.
That would make sense. I also still come back to the point that if I was an alien, all I could think, I can either think an alien is like a single cell life form, or is some technological genius. And in that case, why would they give a shit?
What if they're waiting until we figure out interdimensional travel?
Think about botanist Mark Watley. Like if he was on Mars and he just stumbled upon any life of any kind, he would be freaking the fuck out.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Like if these
not even intelligent life, just life.
Yeah,
we would because we haven't found it,
and we've never found any other life. But
I think
maybe these other creatures have. But I just that general thought, you'd be excited as fuck. It's more life.
You would totally be excited, but also I think we as a race, as a people, have sort of this like bloodthirst that if we found something, because we have like film and television giving us this idea of like aliens are evil and they're going to wipe us. If we made contact, like say these aliens are in fact using crop circles to communicate back. What if they're here to communicate and say they've just cracked the code to interdimensional travel? Guys, we're fucked. Figure something out now, because if we do crack the code to interdimensional travel and we get to them, we will probably wipe whatever we find out.
We'll try to.
Out of fear. We'll try to. But out of fear.
Independence Day, try to.
Exactly.
That's like first reaction. Oh, shoot it, kill it, then we'll figure it out.
That's the way.
Once it's dead.
Shoot first, ask questions later. That's the way humans work.
And I think like, the movie Independence Day, thanks Johnny for bringing that up.
Sure.
Great film.
No problem, Nick.
If we did conquer interdimensional travel, the way the aliens came to Earth is the way that we would come to their planet. I truly believe that.
You mean through the same wormhole, or
not the wormhole, just the way that it was executed? Like I truly believe, or like Mars Attacks, that great Jack Black picture.
Yeah,
I do believe that we would conquer their world like they conquered us in that movie, or tried to. That we would use force and violence to try to figure something out that we don't have the answer to.
They do that to us. You're saying we would do it
in Independence Day. They fucked us up, and in Mars Attacks,
the American way.
Okay.
Yeah.
In my knowledge, I've only ever heard of aliens being more intelligent than we are.
Right. That's all perception, though.
Yeah.
And like, aliens could be looking at us, if they exist. They could be looking at us saying the same exact thing. Like, these humans are so intelligent. Or actually, they wouldn't say humans. They'd say these aliens are so intelligent, because we wouldn't be human to them.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, we may have some element that, some knowledge that they just have no concept of. But they have these concepts that we have no idea about.
Yeah, I can see that, because we're solving...
Even when it comes to technology, they could be flying light years away, but then they could be missing some basic things that we may have. Who knows?
No, that makes sense. Sometimes, when you solve the puzzle, you leave out a couple pieces and you solve the grand scheme of things. I definitely think along the way, we've lost some things. I can give you a couple examples of getting the right answer, but missing steps along the way. And they could have easily done that. We could solve that for them. However, I still go back to the same point. In my little pea brain of a mind, I'm like, why would they give a fuck about us? And if they cared enough about like talking to the government via crop circles, or contacting us, or probing, or drip feeding images, Like, at a certain point, now it's like, oh, if they do exist, a great portion of the populace would already be like, oh, no shit. Like,
right, but why do we care so much about them?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Exactly.
even if they are smarter than us, it's like, well, you don't know what you don't know. They might have all the answers for us. We might have all the answers for them. We have no idea.
So they're helping us advance in technology, essentially.
Yeah, like if they're able to move forward, and continue to evolve, we're able to continue to evolve. We must both be doing something right. We both probably have plenty to learn from each other.
Right. Well, and I think, and the bottom line is, like,
I would imagine
the most frustrating thing about this hypothetical and about the idea of crop circles, and there's a pattern that we're finding, is that there just aren't answers. And I think we're gonna keep
There's always
finding
evidence, but there's
Yeah.
no clincher.
There's evidence to a
Never
point,
a clincher.
and then it just stops, and we reach this halt. And even in my research, I reached a point where I just stopped finding information, and it just didn't exist. And that to me is crazy. And like, I think the further we dig into the future of this podcast and these episodes, is there will be a pattern that we're going to start noticing that there are a lot of things that don't have answers, that just exist. And why? Why do they not have answers? Why do crop circles not have answers? Why do farmers not set up GoPros in their fucking fields and try to document these punk ass teenage quote unquote artists who are running in with big boots, Timberlands, crushing these corns and these crops and making these beautiful pieces of art? Like, why is there not footage of that on the internet?
There's really not. Just that one case of Dave and Doug.
Yeah, but that's like, it wasn't really documented.
Why is there not good hoax footage either? Like, at least make a fake video, of a flying saucer crushing some wheat.
Exactly.
That'd be cool.
But it's too complex. Like, you need to use visual effects, and you need to do all this crazy stuff. You couldn't build I think there's a guy in Georgia who actually built a functioning
miniature.
Or he tried to build a functioning flying saucer, but he couldn't figure out how to get it off the ground.
That's the biggest problem, isn't it?
Yeah. Now he's just living in it. But like,
problem number one.
Little...
I mean, I've seen all the different fan, related ones when it's just like you're just pushing air like that. Okay, that's not a flying saucer.
No, that's just a
Whatever.
hovercraft.
Plenty of people have different kinds of machines that do that.
Yeah, it's a hovercraft, but it's shocking.
Whatever.
To
Been
me.
there, done that. That's old news.
People use hovercraft back in the SWAT force, Vietnam.
This blows me away.
I think what it shows is that people are predisposed to kind of they've got a belief built up in their mind, and they want to believe it, and they'll stick to it unless there's some super, super, super duper hard evidence right in front of their face
that contradicts them,
their own face.
Right. And I get that there are more pressing matters that we need to talk about, like things that actually affect our society and the people in it. And I understand that. And that's what people are fighting for right now. Like, people are fighting for the things that directly affect our safety and our society. And like, aliens are not something that we should worry about. But seriously, though, like, there will always be things that we are going to fight in our society, and things that are very real and close to home. And that's like, we have to level with that. And I get that. But they're also like, we need to multitask in a sense. Like, we have to be having these conversations because people are talking about things to a point where they don't know how to talk about them anymore because they don't have information. And they need to be talking about like why these things exist. Like, we need to be more open to questioning things. Like, if you don't believe in aliens, you don't believe in Bigfoot, you don't believe in ghosts, like, that's totally fine. But like, talking about it is super interesting, and you're going to feel like you are getting somewhere eventually.
That was deep, Nick.
The fact that we're like not talking about it is crazy. And like, this podcast is fun and it's a good time and we're all goofing.
It's a good time.
It's just a great way to hang. Like, we're broing out.
Oh yeah.
But we're talking about this stuff, and whether you hypothetically speaking about these things. And I hope that the people that are listening are taking this and they're talking and creating conversation as well. Because
I know some are.
That's great. And I know some are as well, but I want people to not be afraid to talk about it. Like, yeah, sure, you'll sound a little crazy. We sound a little crazy.
Hell yeah, we do.
But we're normal people.
Normal is also...
I just want to be clear, I do not believe in the flat earth.
I don't either.
I don't
got
either.
A little cloudy back there.
It did.
I do not believe
I don't believe
flat Earth.
I think we both, Taylor, were under the gun. I think we might have had people believe that we were flat earthers for a second.
I have a hypothetical. Taylor, do you believe the crop circles definitively are aliens or hooligans?
I think I really do think that a percentage of them could be aliens. Yeah, I do think that.
Nick, how about you?
Some kind of communication with aliens, yeah. I mean, I definitely want to give credit to people who can do crop circles. I mean, it's obvious that people can do some rudimentary crop circles and even some pretty crazy looking crop circles.
This isn't crop dusting, it's crop circles.
I don't know. Some of them are crazy. I mean, dude, to be honest, like Leonardo da Vinci statues blow my fucking mind. Like
Hell yeah.
Paintings and shit.
At a time
from
back then.
hundreds of years ago blow my mind. So, like, on one hand, yeah, I really do think, because my eccentric, crazy dude mind wants something crazy to happen, like you guys know. I want it to be aliens so bad. Right. Yeah, I do believe that, but I don't want to discredit our human ability as artists, to do crazy, awesome stuff. But yeah, I'm going to side with aliens.
Nick, how about you?
I want to say both, but I'm going to preface it with this. I'm going to say I do believe it's both. I think it's both artists, and I think it is some form. I don't think it's a fucking weather pattern. I don't think it's alien or animals hyped up on opioids, running in circles, making shit. I don't think it's.
I highly doubt that one.
I don't think it's like the magnetism of the fields of our Earth. I do think that it is something alien. I do honestly believe that. But as a PSA. If you are listening to this podcast or find this episode later and you listen to it and you're out there making crop circles, I want to ask you right now, I want you to fucking stop it.
Go fuck yourself.
I want you to stop doing it, and I want you to figure out, it's like playing with a Ouija board. You put your hands on it, you're sitting around with 5 people, and there's that one fucking friend who puts their finger on it and moves it and makes you second guess whether this shit's actually happening. I want the people out there making crop circles.
That's no fun for anybody.
It's not fun. And if people stop, I get it. Art is subjective and it's weird, and I understand the mystery of art and that you're in there messing crops up. I get it.
But this is aliens.
I understand. But
it's like the idea of a mockumentary. It just should not exist.
No, it shouldn't, because you're taking it away from people. You're taking something away that could be science. It could be fascinating. It could make life even more interesting than it already is.
Clouding it.
Pick up a paintbrush, watch Bob Ross for 5 seconds, and I want you to paint circles on a fucking canvas and stop doing things in crops, because you're taking it away from people who are trying to believe in something special.
Nick needs a Snickers right now.
I'm very, writing all of this, I knew I'd get to this point, and I apologize. I need to calm down. I've had a lot of coffee today. I've had 3 cups of coffee. I don't normally have coffee, but if we do one more episode, we run around in circles, and it's very interesting that I say circles because we're talking about crop circles. I just want to stop running in circles. And if people weren't trying to be artists, you know what? Go graffiti something. Go graffiti circles on a wall and prove to us you can draw a straight fucking line. I'm just
man.
And if you're gonna make a crop circle, start an Instagram page, take some pictures of it, post it, and tell us that you made it.
Right.
I don't want mystery.
No.
If you made it, I want to know.
Call it out. And that's and I get it. People are getting their rocks off going, oh yeah, look at this crop circle archive. We made it, Billy. Billy, look, these guys believe that we actually, that aliens did this shit. It's crazy. And I get that must feel good. But you know what? If I went and threw my shoe on a fucking telephone pole line. And I said an eagle lifted in there.
Who throws the shoe?
Who throws a shoe?
Who throws a shoe?
Random task. Odd job.
I just
really, really hurt.
I just I want, and it's the same thing that goes out. You know what? This PSA, while I'm on this high horse, this whatever it is, this pedestal, this soapbox, I'm gonna say Bigfoot hoaxers too. Just stop, because if there were less of you out there doing that,
stop it.
People like me would believe.
Right. You'd stop having skeptics, and it would become a conversation. But it's people out there who think it's funny and think it's interesting to hoax stuff. You know what? Get a life.
Man,
Grow up.
We really railed
Quit
Nick
being
up.
a butthole. Get a life, hoaxers.
Quit being a butthole.
Wow.
And you know what?
Inspirational.
I'm
take a drink of water.
I'm gonna take it.
Well, Nick, I'm glad I asked you that question. I really was expecting a shorter answer, but I'm glad you went on that spiel. That felt good because I agree. In a lot of instances, whether it's aliens, exorcists, whatever the topic is, if there weren't so many hoaxers, there would be more believers. If the proof was still there, if there was still some proof or some evidence of these hypotheticals, there would be more believers. But the people who are hoaxers just make it all cloudy.
Listen, you guys knew it was coming. I was going to get to that point. I mean, we've been doing this for over an hour now, and I've been keeping it together. And you both knew
the volcano was
that this was going to erupt. And it did. And I feel, I genuinely feel better.
Good, Nick. A little therapy there.
It just feels good. And you know what? I hope that a listener
also feels good.
Is a hoaxer.
Oh, you hope so? Someone's going to come out and be like, guys, I'm sorry. It was me this whole time.
It changed their ways. They changed their hoaxing ways.
They just needed to...
Devilish hoaxsters. The devil mower.
The devil's trying to test me with his lawn mowing skills.
The devil tempt me.
So, Nick, you think it's half and half.
Him away.
And Taylor, you think it... Wait, Taylor, did you say that you thought it was aliens or people?
Yeah, I'm gonna say... I mean, that there is at least one that is aliens. Yeah, I'm going to say that there are at least some that are aliens.
Okay, cool. So you guys are both half and half.
Yeah, I just don't want to doubt the human creativity. You know, I want to give us some credit. Sure. We could probably make some of the best ones out there.
Yeah, I truly believe that.
I want to believe so hard, man. I want to believe. I'm a bro-lever, if you will.
Yeah, I am a bro-lever.
Glorp gum.
Glorp gum. Bro-lever. And maybe this is, if I'm going to say the whole Roswell theory, and I went on a Taylor Nelson tangent there back talking about the idea of the Roswell alien is still living on this earth.
Good old Taylorius Nelsonian Maxim.
Yeah, boy.
What?
I also, it would be wrong for me not to credit scientists or even farmers that maybe all of these wonderful gluten-free products, or maybe these wonderful tasting.
I salute you, Bill Nye.
These wheat-based products.
Jolly Giant.
Jolly Green Giant.
The Jolly Rancher Giant.
What if these crop circles are made because the finest crops are actually in these specific circles, so they have to these crops are growing in these circles, so they have to that's just the way they have to cut the crops, is they have to make patterns to get the best
oddly
crops.
Enough, nutrients grows in a pie-based pattern.
It's actually Walt Disney this whole time sitting in a cellar who's like, I demand the best crops in all the world. And I want you to make designs in them because it's what I do if people knew I was still alive.
Yeah. I could
What year did The Wizard of Oz come out?
Oh, interesting.
Because in a haphazard way, that poppy field scene could be construed as a crop circle scene where
I want to hear this out. Keep going.
I don't.
Oh man, I was so excited.
1939.
I don't know where that was going. It seemed to hit a wall right there.
I really wanted it to go somewhere cool. I wanted to follow the Rail Brick Road and really find our way to the Emerald City, but unfortunately, we died along the way.
I think we have, though, held hands, and I think we've all together walked down this yellow brick road all the way to the end. Into what appears to be a circle. So, guys, if you have a hypothetical, if you have a hypothetical you want us to talk about or a thought you'd like to share about today's episode, good news. You can shoot us an email at hybrothoughts@gmail.com. That's hybrothoughts@gmail.com. And who knows, maybe your hypothetical will be featured on a future episode, or we'll discuss it at a later date.
I'm looking forward to it.
Guys, do you have any parting words on crop circles, or can we all sleep a little bit tonight?
I haven't even said if I believe, so.
We know you don't, Johnny.
Okay, well, valid. No, valid.
Hit us with it.
I don't. I honestly don't. I think there's people out here I want to believe, and
Here comes the party pooper, shitting all over the furniture.
I'm sorry. I really wanted to believe a lot of the things, Huggins, a lot of them are cool about the alien sex, and a lot of it's cool. Regardless, I'm saying some of these ideas are cool. You're talking about, government communicating with aliens. That's awesome. I still, in my disbeliever, mindset, my party pooper mindset think that there's somebody out there who started and saw whatever they thought was a shooting star, and that thing was now an alien, and that drip fed and that kept going, and stories and rumors and folklore came into being for a flying saucer that made a saucer nest, and eventually that became an alien, and that became an idea that these things have ships, and there's like. What I'm getting at is that somebody at some time period saw something that was not normal. That actually was, but they couldn't prove it or understand it, and that became an alien. And now we're essentially having people that are like, where am I going with this?
You're not going anywhere, Johnny. I think you just don't believe.
No. I want to get this out there. You had time to rant. I want time to rant. No, I want to bro-leave. Okay. But what I'm saying, let me take a step back.
You either bro-leave or you don't believe.
I believe that people are just being assholes. And
fair.
I believe people are being assholes, and they essentially are trying to just fuck up cornfields and being dicks about it.
But why are they not claiming it and getting some sort of recognition?
Who gives a shit? They're trying to make people essentially think it's aliens. Because that's cool.
But no one's talking about it. You know, so we see someone tweet like, yo, guys, back in Minnesota, this dope-ass crop circle popped up. Like, no one's even talking about it.
An underground thread, an underground community that they all keep in touch via whatever social media they're on. So they know when the new crop circles go up.
Not even in my mind.
Like, damn, you heard about that crop circle in Kansas, dog? Damn. Yeah, so they're probably talking about crop circles all the time on the network.
In my mind, if there was a Reddit thread or whatever that people were making crop circles and were talking about it, there would be a lot more surveillance. Not like, I'm not talking martial law kind of surveillance, but there would be people out there searching, farmers putting GoPros in their lawns, proving it was wrong. But I think people making crop circles are afraid of that happening, so they're purposely not making a bigger deal out of it and essentially normalizing the idea that it's a fraudulent.
Yeah, because they don't want the government coming taking their crops.
Yeah.
Every time there's a dang crop circle in my field.
No, they don't want. No.
Take my seeds.
I don't think they don't want the government. They don't want the government coming and proving them wrong and for trespassing. They don't want. They want to break the law.
That's what they would say, though. That's what the government would say. When in fact, the government is just there to read the sign, and they're going to go back and compute it, and they'll probably make a crop circle right next to it as soon as that grass grows, or wheat, or whatever. And boom, we'll have another crop circle. Because the government is intertwined with the aliens and the planning shit.
I'm saying they're just dicks. Taylor, I want to believe in so much stuff. And some of these things I do. I believe in paranormal stuff. I think it's just assholes being assholes.
I don't know.
You may be right.
None of us do.
You know, and I think...
hey, man,
yeah, I mean...
you're fucking right.
We've had some crazy theories on this episode, and, Johnny,
say it, Nick. Say it to my face.
I'll say it.
Say it.
You're probably right.
Woo, it feels good to say.
It doesn't feel good?
A little emotional.
I think
really
as a parting word, guys, same people, if you can get Bob Chandler on the podcast, great.
Please.
But if you know someone who currently has a crop circle,
go fuck them up.
A fresh crop circle, please email us at hybrothoughts@gmail.com, and we'd love to purchase our flight, head to you, and do an investigative piece.
Or if you've got a field of crops
your farm
that we could all together try to make a crop circle, that'd be dope as well.
Yeah, I would totally try.
Absolutely. Anything crop circle related, please. Like, we want to investigate more. Maybe we'll do a part 2 of this episode later down the line if there are more advancements, if we can actually go make our own crop circle. Whatever it is, I would love to see one. I would love to see one in person.
Yeah, me too.
And if you do know anyone, whether it's in England, whether it's here in the U.S.,
we'll go.
Just tell us. Email us, and we'd love to go check it out. And I'd love to see it firsthand, honestly. No goofs. I genuinely want to see it.
I'm in.
Me too.
Great. So with all that being said, guys, thank you so much for listening. It's insane that we are on episode 5 and that you guys are still listening even after our long fart conversation in the Biodome episode. And we hope that you stick around because we have so many more awesome topics to talk about, so many more awesome discount codes for you guys for some incredible companies that we truly believe in and support. And, many more things to come. So I have been Nick.
I'm Taylor.
I've been Johnny.
And we'll hear you, feel you, and see you on next week's episode, where Taylor is going to be bringing a cutting-edge topic to you as we dig deep and try to figure it out, and just pray that we don't go in another circle, because we want answers. We demand answers. And we all need answers.
That was deep as well.
All right, yeah, I think that's it.
They'll do it.